Wow, you guys. Hello, YouTube. It's mysterious. I have never made a YouTube video before, so hopefully you can bear with me. But I am a true crime lover. I have followed this case, the Gilgo Beach case, for years. So I had to jump on and talk about this case, and hopefully even if just a couple of people watch it and interact with it, I can maybe get some answers and see if other people have seen and noticed and are wondering about some of these things too. Firstly, today is Thursday, July 20th. So just last night, I saw that the Gilgo Beach suspect, that his wife filed for divorce. I find that so interesting because with some of the other cases that we have been following as a true crime community, of course, some of the other suspects' wives did not do that. For example, Richard Allen in the Delphi case, his wife has stood by him. We haven't heard much from her since obviously he made those confessions. I'm sure she's confused. I'm not exactly sure how she feels now, but she didn't immediately file for divorce from him. I still have not seen anything that says that she has or is planning to. And I think she genuinely was shocked and believes, or at least used to believe, in his innocence and was willing to stand by him. And I feel like most of us would do that with our spouses. We wouldn't want to believe that they have committed these kinds of crimes, unless, of course, they have other behavior that makes it make sense. And I'm wondering about that with this case because Rex Heuermann's wife has filed for divorce so quickly, immediately, within days of his arrest. And it makes me wonder how he treated his family. It makes me wonder if he treated them well or if he was as dominating as he has been described in his work relationships, if he has been like that to his family. Of course, we don't know that, but we do know that she filed for divorce very quickly. So it makes me wonder how they were treated as a family. Perhaps this is going to be somewhat of a relief for them. I think that's terrible to say because obviously it's going to be years before they can have any kind of fresh start as a family, but hopefully if he was a thumb on their backs, they can at least start to breathe now, and it's going to be a lot of healing, but hopefully it does eventually turn into a fresh start for them. And I feel terrible for what they're going through. I have seen images of his wife. I don't feel comfortable showing close-ups of those images because they're victims too, I feel like, and his wife looks like she's going through it pretty hard right now. I don't want to say that in a humiliating way. It's just that from the images I've seen, it looks like she's probably having a pretty rough time right now. So hopefully they get the help that they need because there's no shame in that. I myself, by profession, am a nurse. And so I can't help but think about the mental health implications on his family members. But that being said, there's a couple of other interesting things that I found recently that I wanted to blab about. The next one was that Rex Heuermann, his architecture firm, has done a lot of work with some pretty prominent figures in New York City, including the Trump Organization, which I find interesting because I felt immediately when I saw videos of Rex Heuermann talking, I felt immediately, my goodness, he talks like Donald Trump. He projects like Donald Trump. And I didn't think, I'm not American, so I am not affiliated with a political party, so it makes no difference to me. So I really hope that I'm not creating drama. But I did notice right away that the way he said, I'm Rex Heuermann and I do this and that, and just the way he was projecting his words and the way his arms flew out to the side and he opened up his chest and immediately thought he looked like Donald Trump. And I find that interesting because I think we often choose who we do business with based on if we like them. And so Donald Trump must have liked the confidence and charisma that Rex Heuermann displayed. Very interesting to me. Not that it means anything to the case, really, but this is why I kind of wanted to do a video, is because some of the things I'm noticing that I want to talk about are not really relevant to the outcome of the case. Just interesting things that maybe someone with my profession is assessing. That's kind of what we do. We assess from head to toe, including behavior patterns and cleanliness even. I know that sounds awful, but it is actually a part of our nursing, head to toes and things like that, is to take a look at, and it's for the reason of diagnosing. When you give your assessments to the doctors, it helps them put together a picture of whether or not this person needs help with anything. And it's never a judgmental thing. It's just a part of looking at every piece of the body from head to toe. In certain circumstances, obviously. I completely understand that there are people who have bad experiences in the medical profession, but that's not what this is about. I really hope that that can be placed aside and that we can just talk about noticing small things in people and creating patterns with those things, because I think we see a lot of these things in other suspects and other cases. So I couldn't help but notice that. I couldn't help but notice that him and his house are disheveled, and that he doesn't put care into his home, even though he's an architect, which is very interesting, and that he does have so much pride and confidence and charisma for someone who doesn't, from the outside, really look like they have their life organized. But that's really all I noticed with that. One of the other things that I wanted to discuss, the last thing that I'm really going to touch on, is his other properties. Rex Heuermann, it's been discovered, has several properties. I guess a timeshare in Las Vegas, which is right on the Strip. And that's something I noticed right away about that, is that he could probably look right down on the Strip and see who is walking around and what they're doing and watch people. And I feel like he's a hunter and that he would have taken advantage of that. And I'd love to know when he last traveled to Las Vegas. And I tried to look at missing persons in Las Vegas. It wasn't really easy for me to find a good list, but I will try to dig further. I did the same thing with South Carolina. Apparently he has a property in South Carolina as well. A couple of different parcels of land, one of which his brother either bought off him or is living off him. I'm not really sure. But his brother is down there, Craig Heuermann, who also is responsible for having taken a life earlier in his life. At 22 years old, he killed a police officer while he was drinking and driving, and on some other substances as well. And he has hit his neighbor over the head with a steel pole, which was an act of aggression because the neighbor was cutting his grass on a Sunday. So very interesting that both of these characters have this dominant and forceful personality. I haven't learned anything about his parents. I know their names, but other than their names, Theodore and Dolores, I really don't know anything about them. I know that Rex Heuermann bought his New York property off of his mother. His mother is still alive. I believe she's 93 years old. I'd love to know more about their home life as children, because they both seem to have been raised with a very aggressive attitude. But yeah, I will probably have more things to say on this case as it goes along. And I really honestly just hope a couple people will see it and maybe talk with me about it in the comments, if that's something that you're interested in doing, leave a like, and then maybe you'll see my next one. So take care, YouTube. Thanks for listening to me blab.